But it seems like we've always been worlds apart. We're just different from one another. When we talk about our childhood now, it's as if we were raised in two different households. Her memories seem radically different from mine, even though we were raised in the same house, on the same street with the same mother. You know, she forgot that we had a dog. Who forgets that? She claims that her memory's selective because Mom was so tough on us, so she's blocked a lot of it out. Yeah, Mom was tough, but she was a good mom. At least I thought so. She took me to Paris for my 16th birthday. She never did anything like that with my sister. But I just thought there was some logistical reason. I never thought it was because I was the favorite. You know, I didn't feel like the favorite. My sister was always the pretty one, the cool one. She was rebellious. On a weekend when I might go visit a museum with Mom, she'd be off smoking weed with a boyfriend. She had long flowing hair and beautiful skin. She played Joni Mitchell and Indigo Girls on her guitar, even though Mom made her study classical. She used to walk around barefoot in ripped Levi's and peasant blouses, but she never looked disheveled, you know. She always looked somehow glamorous. And yeah, I mean, I'll admit that sometimes I resented her. But it's all water under the bridge now, right? Because we're adults and we have these grown-up lives separate and apart from one another. And she's still my sister. She was complaining of a lot of pain up in here, and she's always been so healthy. She never goes to the doctor, so I took her to the doctor, who told us it was stage 4, already in her liver and God knows where else. The doctor didn't say God knows, he just said, we don't know where else at this point. I only met the doctor's gaze once, long enough to see this sadness in his eyes underneath his all business exterior. He didn't enjoy giving this kind of news. Terminal news. He knew it and I knew it. And the only one who didn't seem to get it was her. That surgery she'd been fearing so much, well, it's not even an option, and that's not good news. But she seemed relieved. Phew, no surgery. And she seemed to be kind of placidly smiling, or not smiling, I don't know. She exhaled. She said, okie dokie. And then she started talking about some kind of soup that she wanted from the deli down the street, but I had to face the wall and try to compose myself because I was kind of losing my shit then, which I don't normally do. And the doctor came over to me, but I waved him away. The thing is that I had so many questions, you know, about treatment and symptoms going forward and how long she had. But it hardly seemed like the time to ask them because of her. So we got up to leave. And the doctor said he would be in touch, or another doctor would be in touch about treatment options. And we left. We asked the nurse for some pain meds on the way out. And then my sister said, let's go shopping. And I thought, shopping? The fuck do you intend to buy right now? But off we went. There was this apartment building she wanted to go look at. I'd been telling her that she had to move out of her place because it was this little walk-up with too many stairs and no one could stay there with her. I wanted her to come stay with me, but she wanted to go look at this super luxe apartment building. So that was the first place we went. She asked the leasing agent, do you have one with a better view? And I asked, what's the closest hospital? And then she asked, will the front desk mail my Amazon returns back for me? And I asked, do you offer short-term leases? And then she asked, are you planning to switch out these unattractive elevator mats because they're really unacceptable for such an otherwise beautiful building? And I said, how do you get wheelchairs in and out of this building if the elevators stop working? And she looked at me kind of funny on that one. And then she said, I think you need a pedicure. I went home that night and I finally let myself crumble. The doctor gave her a terminal diagnosis and she gave me a pedicure. I don't understand her. I may never understand her. We're two women born to the same two parents. Words that never will sink in, days that now are numbered. She lets them pass like mist on the breeze. To me, the walls are
I'm a surgeon. I perform complicated operations on internal organs like the pancreas, the liver, and the spleen. Surgeries that can last 12, 14 hours. I operate on people whose organs are failing but fixable. This woman's GP saw something on her scan that he didn't like, so he told her to make an appointment. These doctors who are out of their depth and don't know what else to do, they tell their patients to come see me. But what they don't tell them is that I'm the best case scenario. I'm the one they see if the disease hasn't spread beyond the point of being cut out and starts consuming internal organs like a hungry predator, and I can't do anything. That's how it went with this woman. She came in for her first appointment, and I had seen her scans earlier, and they didn't look good. Still, you can't be sure unless you have biopsies, so I fast-tracked her to get one, which was quite a feat in my hospital. Lots of people are waiting on these endoscopic procedures. In the meantime, I told her that we should talk so I could get to know her a little bit better and have a better idea of where to send her if I couldn't operate on her, which I was pretty sure I couldn't. And we ended up talking for 20, 30 minutes. And, she had majored in French studies in college. Not French language, French studies. She made sure I knew the difference. I still don't really know the difference, but I'll look that up later. Anyway, what struck me about her was that she just kind of seemed fine with the whole thing. I know that sounds crazy, but it seemed like she knew that it was going to be okay, even though it wasn't okay. And I know that sounds crazy. Most people who come in to see me, there's just so much fear. And that's very reasonable. This is a very fearsome diagnosis, and that fear just wasn't there with her. And it got me thinking, have I been doing this all wrong? Maybe I was the one who was out of my depth. I went home later that night, and I couldn't even bring myself to go on my evening jog. I was too drained. I had bourbon instead. The scans came back, and it was, as I suspected, she wasn't a candidate for surgery. As she was leaving my office, she said she wanted some pea soup from the deli down the street, and her sister, who was with her, was kind of losing it and couldn't bring herself to take her there, and I thought, I should go get her that pea soup. And it took me a minute to remember, I can't go get this patient pea soup. I have other patients waiting, and I can't go get soup for every patient that receives this kind of diagnosis. She sent me a glowing letter a few days later, thanking me for my time and my efforts. I've never received a thank you letter for what I essentially thought of as a death sentence. In my line of work, I deal with life and death almost every day. I learned how to cut away disease a long time ago. But how to cut away some of this fear? I still don't know.
Like maps before me, the path ahead feels like a maze. Fearful eyes and compromise, all that's waiting for me, are the patterns that consume my days. But still, to my surprise, as only given, reality goes to your head. No second chance, one backward glance, and you're torn to ribbons. So numb the pain and look ahead. Try not to drown in what they've said. But still, to my surprise, as the sun begins to rise, that hopeful voice returns, and I face the day head on, not caring if I'm wrong. And it's sweet till it's gone. Right words, the answers, they slip
Tell you something. There is somebody up there. He's an asshole. This is all so wrong. Maybe this should have been me. I'm a 50-year-old man in the prime of my life. But she's younger than I am, and she's lying in a hospital cot in the middle of her bedroom. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's not me. I'm just being honest. I'm not ready to die. I feel like I've still got so much left to do. I've got a new wife, practically a new lease on life. I'm more productive at work than I've ever been. Ask me about dying, I can't even conceive it. I can't even picture it. I look in the mirror, and my aging face is a shock to me. I mean, it's not that bad. I know I look good, but still, we all age, right? Oh my God. I'm still strong. Still feel sharp. Not to be crude, but I can still perform in the bedroom. Okay, I've never had any complaints. Okay, a little Viagra goes a long way, but basically it's all there, all right? But I digress. I digress. She's lying there, and it doesn't look like she's going to wake up. The thing about it is, she used to have this beautiful smile, the most radiant smile. I come from a family of immigrants. We didn't believe in orthodontics. But she had the most beautiful smile, the whitest teeth, not a single one out of place. And she took great care to take care of those teeth, you know? In-office whitenings, out-of-office bleaching trays, floss in the glove compartment, in her purse, and every conceivable drawer in the house. Man. Coffee and tea, they were out because they stain, right? But she did love steamed beets. And those stain too, right? She was a woman full of contradictions. I guess it was her obsession with oral hygiene that just was one of her many quirks, you know? She had many. She had a big personality. She was fun. She was spontaneous. There was some shit that went with that, man. Some darkness, some complexity. She used to want to get high before having sex. Now, did I take that as a commentary on myself? I can tell you I did not. I think she enjoyed our sex life. She just needed to find a way to relax, you know, unwind. I remember joking with her once that after I bought her this Mercedes, I should probably get a blowjob for this at least once a week. Okay, I half joked. Still, it wasn't a shining moment of chivalry on my part. I regret that. Jesus, I regret a lot of things. But I was a good husband. I took care of everything. I was a good provider. I didn't complain, even when I was spending 14 hours a day trying to get my job off the ground. And I was a good father. I was there. I didn't take calls on the weekends. I didn't travel for work. I was present. There wasn't a bill I didn't pay or a day I didn't show up for her and our daughter. Jesus, it all just seems so unfair. The thing you see is she was always so healthy. She was always watching what she ate, you know? And she would always take these vitamins and supplements. And she used to write me these emails even after we split up about the latest things that she thought that I should be taking, you know? Resveratrol, CoQ10, fish oil because omega-3s, right? She always thought I should be taking this more natural path to wellness. Man, she was just trying to help everybody. But she had this dark side too. She was needy. She always tried to make the best of things. But then, she's lying there. It doesn't look like she's going to get up. Once upon a time, she left me. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I think it was a mistake. She was looking for something she was never going to find. And I moved on. I have my health. I have a new life, a new career. I loved her. Jesus, I don't even know why I'm getting so bent out of shape about all this. She's my ex-wife, and she left me. And I moved on. So why do I feel like she's just leaving me all over again? Promises are a joke from the moment that you make them. You give your heart, take a vow, and then time decides to break them. Maybe she should have known she didn't have to face this much alone. Alone. Promises sounded good, quite the noble undertaking. But don't you dare second guess when the foundation starts quaking. Maybe I should have known she wouldn't stay to share the seeds we'd sown. We'd sown. And what kills me is a judgment in their eyes. But the memories that now feel more like lies. They don't know, they don't know. I was strong, I held on, and she let go. Promises stick around, no matter where you sweep them. You're dead when you say the words, and you're damned if you don't keep them. Maybe I should have known the moment that she made the choice her own. Her own. I'm not saying I'm the victim. Don't take my words and twist them. I just could have been more than a footnote divorce. Look down on when she knows that I stayed the course. And what kills me isn't how a lifetime flies, but how you give and how they criticize. When every choice you made I won't ask her for pity, but does she know? Does she know when she's gone? I hold on. I can't let go.
My mother has always loved flowers. Roses especially, but all kinds of flowers. So one of these days in the hospital, my aunt was making arrangements for the ambulance to take Mom home because she couldn't walk anymore. She actually couldn't even sit in a wheelchair. But I took my husband with me and we went to Trader Joe's and I bought out like the entire floral department. Red roses and yellow roses and these little potted bushes of roses and sunflowers, hydrangeas, and these tall white Casablanca lilies that Mom always loved because she thought they were so elegant and they smelled so good. I filled the entire trunk of my SUV with flowers. And it was a beautiful day, so I opened up the sunroof and I felt the sunlight on my face and I felt joyful. And then I remembered that Mom was coming home and she was probably never going to leave home ever again. So we rush over to Mom's place and it's a race against the clock. She hasn't been discharged yet, but when she got there I wanted to see these flowers all over her place in all of her vases. My mom had dozens of antique vases. I don't know, she loved to collect them and it always confused my dad when they were still together. She'd come home with another antique vase and he'd say, well, what do we need another vase for? It's just fodder for the next earthquake. But was that going to stop her? No. My mom was a relentless collector and she loved them. So there she was buying another one. So Mom got home and she was out of it, but she admired the flowers as much as she could anyway. And they laid her down. She would have these like random bursts of energy where she would make these semi-lucid comments, but even that stopped after the second day. So as of now, she's been like sleeping full time, and the only sounds coming from her room are the sounds of her labored breathing and the whirs of her oxygen machine. On the first night home, the hospice nurse said that it can either be 6 days or 6 weeks. None of us can know God's plan. And I thought, 6 weeks? So I've been dreading this moment, of course, but I've also kind of been secretly hoping that it would be faster because I don't think I can do this for 6 weeks. I've been here all day, every day. I've read her things that I've written, I've held her hand as I've cried, and I've watched as my tears stain this crisp white sheet that's draped over her. And I tell her how much I love her, and I don't want her to worry about me because I'm strong. And I know that she technically can't hear me, but it still feels like she's listening. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like the other night, for example, my dad said that he might bring his new wife around. And I told Mom, and I swear I saw her grimace. So I told Dad that it probably would not be the best idea to do that. I've been really nervous to go back to my house every night, but the hospice nurse said that I should go and I should just tell Mom when I'm leaving that she'll understand and she'll want me to go home and be with my husband and take care of myself, that she'll choose a time to go. And if she chooses to go when I'm not here, that it's a conscious decision and that I should not have any negative feelings about it. No negative feelings. I'll admit, I have had quite a few of those in my lifetime where mom is concerned. When I was 11, my mom took me to this fancy designer children's boutique. And she took me there to show me that all of those beautiful, delicate clothes were not going to fit my chubby frame. That the pants with the cute satin patches sewn onto the front were not going to zip up past my soft belly. I don't know, I guess she thought it would be motivating to me. So then, when I was 16, I confessed to my mom that I didn't think I would ever have a boyfriend. And she told me not to worry because I have a beautiful face and a lovely rear end. So when I was finishing college, I got engaged to this man, and his arms were so warm, and he smelled so good, and he could pick me up off of the ground. And to my surprise, he wasn't much interested in these skinny girls in designer fashions. This man wanted me. So I went dress shopping with mom, and she picked out this like ruffly, crazy dress that was kind of like Little Bo Peep, but like skanky Little Bo Peep. And she said that it was demure and flattering for someone with my build. Sexy and dramatic? No. That's for somebody else with a different kind of build, of course. At my wedding, I beamed, and my mom glowed. That's just it. My mother always glowed. These past few months, they've been hell. But they've also been amazing. We've radiated love back and forth, and I've read her things that I've written, and she loves it. She savors my words. Wonderful, she says. And when she says it, it's filled with a kind of love and pride that I don't think I could ever feel from anybody else, ever. How am I supposed to do this without her? It's taken me this long to understand, but she's been seeing me glow the whole time. I feel like I do almost anything to keep being seen like that for just a little while longer. From the hospital visits at 2 a.m. to the tears that come, whether or not you want them, all the well-meaning whispers have made it clear. You've asked all the wrong questions, and the end is near. But even now, I find myself reaching out for something I can't name, a sign, a light, a thing to blame. And even now, I wonder how the child inside can find a way at all. But if I gave a little more, if I brave a little more, if I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, could I live with everything I've done? If I'd known how soon it'd be, could I do it all differently? 'Cause no second chance awaits me, the lesson still escapes me, and I feel now the night has just begun. From the thought of a future without your guide, though you know she's flawed, there's comfort in how she tried. To the moment of panic, when the dam bursts free, justifying inside the fear that you hide, saying it's less for her than for me. But even now, I find myself making promises that feel so cheap. She'll never know and I'll never keep. And even now, I wonder how the child inside has come this far at all. nearer, so much clearer every day. It's so cruel to feel her nearer as she slowly slips away. But if I gave a little more, if I said what I could not before, if I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, would she wait and see who I've become? If she knows who I can be, would she stay and fight some more to see? Because I don't know what awaits me. The reason still escapes me, and there's no turning back from where we've come. I'm anything but numb. If I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, would she see the woman I've become?
My sister's taking me to this doctor because I've been having this pain, this awful pain, right in here. I have a pretty high pain tolerance. I mean, maybe I've glossed over it in my mind, but as I remember it, childbirth was no big deal for me, truly. But this pain, it's pretty intense. I'm trying not to have anxiety about it. It will be what it will be. I certainly don't want this doctor to think I'm some sort of hypochondriac. Then again, I suppose what the doctor thinks of me should be the least of my concerns. I used to worry so much about what people thought of me. Whether they liked me, found me nice enough, smart enough, pretty enough, which is kind of funny, looking back on it now, because I've realized most people, well, they're not really paying such close attention. Most people don't notice and don't care if you have a pimple or a bad hair day or an inarticulate moment. It seems most of us, we move through this world mostly preoccupied with ourselves. I had this friend who used to work for a guru, like a 1-800-change-your-life kind of a situation. You know, those calm-voiced people you might see on like a late-night infomercial who talk about turning the chaos around in your life and finding presence and joy and peace, blah, blah, blah. I secretly turned my nose up at my friend's line of work. I told my sister, and she, of all people, disagreed. I mean, she may seem uptight, but it seems to me she's always been searching for something deeper. Not me. Sure, I can, rock boho chic as well as anyone. I could always sell long hair and peasant blouses and flowy skirts, but I never bought into any of that we're all part of the universal life force stuff. And nowadays, my outlook has shifted. It could be aging, but it's felt like something else. Like the universe has been telling me to relax, slow down, just appreciate what I already have in this beautiful life. My friend said her guru boss had reached enlightenment. She described it as the growth of the human into the divine, resulting in the deification of the human person. And I remember thinking, What the fuck does that even mean? Deification? I mean, it sounded vaguely blasphemous to me, and I'm not even religious. But I guess I've been thinking about it, without even knowing I was thinking about it. What does it mean to be divine? And then I thought about my daughter. And the fact that my ex-husband and I, we created that human being. We made her and raised her, and she's amazing to me. And I guess I've been thinking a lot about the things I've done in my life. Traveled the world. I danced in the streets at Carnival in Rio. I've toured Coco Chanel's private apartments. I've felt soft white sand under my feet on so many different beaches that I can't even remember exactly where they all were. I've gotten married and divorced. And I think I understand myself better now than I ever have. I've held my own new baby in my arms, and I've watched her grow into an incredible woman. And although I am well aware that this world doesn't belong to just me, in these joyful moments, I felt like the world was all mine, if that makes sense. And I can't help it. I just feel all of this gratitude. But then there's this pain. The other day I was in so much pain. The clerk at Rite Aid said they were out of stock on my painkillers and I'd have to come back later. And I said, well, fine, I'll just fucking die right here on the pharmacy floor. I actually said that to the poor girl while I just working behind the counter. Poor thing almost had a heart attack. So no, I don't think I've reached divinity. And I just don't expect that I ever will. Or even need to. I'm going to die. I know that. We all do. I don't know what's going to happen at the doctor's office tomorrow or any day after that, but I've looked at the life I've lived so far, what I've been lucky enough to do. I've loved deeply, and I've been loved. If I get bad news tomorrow, I know someone might say, why me? But the more I think about it, I guess I might say, why not me?
She was a friend.
She was a sister.
She was a wife.
She was a mother. Mostly sincere.
Some moments bitter. Far off to one.
Close to another. I can feel her still surround me, within me and around me.
Still hard to bear. And so unfair. Through the tears and revelations, years and expectation,
Hope or despair, I feel her there.
and she was.
Thank you.